Welcome, everybody. We are so happy you're here. Give me a thumbs up that you can hear me and all is good. Oh, great. Thanks, everyone. All right. You are in for a treat. You are the inaugural viewing of this presentation. And it's a conversation that I'm really honored to share with Dr. Jeremy, to share with all of you. And we're going to cover quite a bit. We're going to talk about weight loss. We're going to talk about the psychology of it, the physiology of it. Is it willpower? Is it a disease? What is it? We're going to talk about GLPs and what the heck is going on with all the GLPs and then we're going to talk about a whole new perspective and a whole new pathway with a whole new product that is here that is disrupting the GLP conversation. So, here we go. First of all, I want to introduce you to Dr. Jeremy Thornton. Dr. Jeremy, please say hello and tell us a little bit about yourself. And also, we all have a body. And so we all have a relationship with our body and probably with weight loss and food. And so tell us a little bit about you professionally. And then we want to know, like, what has your relationship been like with your body and food?
Absolutely. So super excited to be here. Super excited to do this with you, Dr. Erin. And my name is Dr. Jeremy Thornton. I've been in practice now for 28 years in the area of nutritional and functional medicine, a chiropractic physician, board certified internist, board certified clinical nutritionist. And my father of four, primarily work with autoimmune disease and root causes. But with any chronic illness, we find that there is oftentimes a metabolic component to that, and inflammation and blood sugar and obesity drives all of these conditions, right? And so almost everybody comes in to my office with these issues we're going to talk about tonight and struggle with the same things we all do. And I have had my own struggles with food and with being overweight and with unhealthy relationships with food. I've struggled. I've always said that I'm a stress eater. Anybody else a stress eater? And so in times in my life when things get tough, it's very easy for me to turn to food for comfort, to feel better, to fire those endorphins and those neurochemicals in the brain, the feel good hormones. And it's very easy. Everybody, at least I got a lot of people that are with me in the comments here. It's really easy to turn to those foods that drive those receptors in an unhealthy way, right? And I know you're going to touch on this, but the food is engineered to do that nowadays on purpose. And so we've already got things working against us when we're battling this. And then once I got into being insulin resistant, that opens up a whole other can of worms when it comes to trying to lose weight, because once you've entered the realm of insulin resistance, even if you're not diabetic or even pre-diabetic, you can try to do the right things, right? You can try to eat better, try to get exercising, move more, the things that are supposed to work, we're told are supposed to work. And a lot of times it doesn't budge, right? Nothing moves, nothing happens, and then you feel stuck. And it's very easy when you're in this position to want to throw in the towel because you're doing the right things, you're trying, and nothing's working and nothing seems to be happening. And so a lot of people get into this position and eventually they just give up because they don't think they can be successful. And so it's really easy to see why people are turning to injections. It seems like the easy solution. But as we're going to talk about tonight, it's a slippery slope. It's a dangerous conversation when you are also gambling your health. And so I won't get too far into that, but that's a little bit about me.
And Dr. Jeremy, tell us a little bit how did you hear about Origin, which is what we're going to be sharing with you tonight. What did you think at the beginning, and how many people are on your team in, I believe, 6 months? Because you're at the top of the leaderboard globally, like in all the land, in the whole entire globe. Dr. Jeremy's at the top. Okay.
Oh, I just can't shut up about it. But I think we have over 3,000 on our team right now. We started really sharing this about mid-January. And so I came across this in December. and really put it off. Did anybody else see this and said, "Oh, it's not going to work for me"? And that's exactly my thought process. I had tried so many things in the area of metabolism and fat loss over the years, literally dozens of different things I've tried personally with patients, and never really found anything that I'm like, "Oh, wow, this is good," right? And so when this came across in front of me, a friend of mine, Tanya, had shared it, and I'm like, you know what? Not really interested. I tried a lot of these things, right? I'd even tried a lot of other, quote unquote, natural peptide products and wasn't seeing the benefits that I had hoped. And so finally, I reluctantly said yes. She was seeing results. I knew she had struggled with weight loss and her health. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to try a bottle. And I had zero expectation that this was going to work. I came in with a very poor mindset. I'm sure somebody else on here also came in like, okay, this stuff isn't going to work, but fine, I'll try one more thing. And so I'm so glad that I did. So I got the drops. I started on these over the holidays, over Christmas and into New Year. Not the best time to start a metabolism product, right? But I did nonetheless, was not expecting to see results, but actually had lost weight over the holidays. And I stopped myself and I said, whoa, wait a minute. That's never happened, first of all, in my entire life. I never lose weight over the holidays, just the opposite. But that's what drove me to look closer because I'm like, something is different here. I feel better. I did not gain a ton of weight like I generally do from overeating over the holidays. What is going on? So I dove into the product, into the science, into the ingredients. And the more I studied this, Dr. Erin, the more excited I got at the possibilities. So I started using it not only myself, but with my family. That's what good doctors do. They guinea pig themselves and their family, close friends, relatives. And I started using with a handful of friends, handful of patients. And the more I started using it, the more excited I was getting because I was seeing responses in things I would never have thought that this could touch, would never have thought that this could impact some of the health conditions I was seeing it impact. And I just never looked back, right? I have not stopped sharing since that moment. And we have our hands on something special, which we're all going to talk about tonight. And I hope you guys realize just how special this product is, this company is, this opportunity is, and the people that we have to lock arms with to share it.
Thank you, Dr. Jeremy. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, hello, everyone. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and kind of the vantage point that I'm coming at this with. My name is Dr. Erin Oksol. I'm a psychologist. So the doctor is from a psychologist. I've been a psychologist for about 23 years. I'm in Reno, Nevada. I was awarded top doctor in Nevada, which I'm so proud of. I'm an 8-time best-selling author. I'm a high performance mentor and expert, double blue diamond here at Origin, which is just insane. I build this with my amazing husband, Garth. And I want to begin with this idea that if you were sitting across from me in my psychology office, as this happens a lot, I have people that say, I want to lose weight. I want to lose 30 pounds. I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm just so miserable in my body. If you were sitting across from me, I would ask you, we have one of two routes. One route is you can go the body positivity route. You get to choose. Like, do you want to learn to love your body at this state, or do you want me to support you in a different, what I call ideal strength state? And ultimately, 99% of people say, no, I want to lose the weight. I want you to help support me lose the weight, to lose the weight. But I want to share with you my philosophy around all of this is the goal is not the glorification of being small. The goal is not how small can we become? Can we actually become invisible? Because we're seeing this happen on the Ozempic shots. Okay. It's called an Ozempidemic. Okay. It's like the goal is can we just almost like become so invisible you don't even see us? No, that is not the goal. So the goal wasn't how small could I become, it was how free could I feel. Put a yes if that resonates. Now, I would ask you, where do you feel most free in your body? What is that ideal strength state? It may happen to be that your ideal strength state, meaning your freedom state, is 30 pounds less. It may be that 30 pounds less, you don't obsess about your body and your stomach and your whatever, like I used to. Okay. I take a stand for your freedom. Okay. And I want to begin with this amazing quote from my favorite human, um, Glennon Doyle. She's a New York Times bestseller and number one podcast in the world. And I want to set this up this way. Your body, and this is my belief, your body is not your masterpiece. Your life is. It is suggested to us a million times a day that our bodies are projects. They aren't. Our lives are, our spirituality is, our love is, our relationships are, our work is. Stop spending all day obsessing, cursing, perfecting your body like it's all you got to offer the world. Your body is not your art, it's your paintbrush. I just want to paint. So please, if you are free in your body, if you feel free in your body, please understand there is nothing you need to do. There is no change. No one is broken. That is not what we're coming at this conversation with. Okay. Okay. Given that you hear my heart on that, 3 out of 4 Americans are overweight or obese, which is a BMI of 25 or higher. Okay. So let's look at this. Let me know. Put a yes in the chat if you've ever been told this or heard someone say to this, or maybe you said it to someone, you're overweight, just eat less. If you wanted this bad enough, you'd figure it out. You need to go to the gym. You need more self-control. Stop being so lazy. Try harder. And I will tell you, last year, I like to say I gained 27 pounds without my consent. And it was menopause. It was hell. Okay. I am a fit woman. I work out almost every day. I eat the same thing and I gained 27 pounds. And I went to my therapist because I had become so sad about this that I went to a therapist and I said, "This is a problem." And she said, "We're going to have to figure out how to get you to love your stomach." And I said, "I'm never coming back to see you again." I said, "Guess when I will love my stomach? When my stomach goes away." And we lost the 27 pounds. But that was not because I was eating like a jerk or doing anything different. Okay. It was menopause. So we know willpower is real. We all have willpower. Yes, our decisions matter. We are not saying that they don't. But I want to say it's not the whole story. So this is my husband and I, Garth, and he has a relationship with food, which is it's just very utilitarian, very economical. He's an engineer. And for some reason, when you ask him, "Do you want chocolate?" he will say, "Well, I had it yesterday, so I don't need it for today." Like that has anything to do with anything, right? Or he'll say the weirdest thing. He'll say, "No, thank you, I'm full." And I'm like, that also has nothing to do with whether or not you want ice cream or chocolate. Like it's bizarre, okay? You bring Oreos into the house with me and I'm going to do a line like I'm a crackhead. Okay. That like Garth doesn't struggle with that. So I do want to say that while we all make choices, the effort required to make those choices might not be equal across people. So Garth doesn't get points for not eating the Oreos. I get points for not eating the Oreos because it's hard for me. It's not hard for him. Okay, we've all heard, "Bet you can't just eat one," right? It was the Lay's famous slogan. And you know what? You want to know why? It's because the food companies, you might know this, have engineered the food so that you literally can't eat just one. They have understood how to create what's called hyper palatable foods that stimulate your brain's reward pathways in extremely intense ways. It's called the bliss point to scientists. Food scientists have termed this. And it's the perfect combination of sugar, fat, salt, texture, and mouthfeel, which I'm assuming is how it feels in your mouth. Okay. So they know what they're doing. And I always have to talk about Oreos. So there is literally an Oreo study. It's called the Oreo study. And we found that when the rats were eating the Oreos, it lit up their reward related brain region greater than cocaine and morphine. So they're like, "No, I prefer the Oreos to the cocaine. Thank you very much." Okay. So highly processed foods can completely hijack your brain's reward system in very powerful ways. I don't know if you watched this, but 2024, Oprah had a huge special with the dietitian, the head of fitness at Harvard. It was called Shame, Blame, and the Weight Loss Revolution. And she talked about GLPs. And this really started the conversation of is this weight loss? Is this being overweight and obese? Is it a disease? What's going on? And she said, perhaps I was not weaker than everyone else. Perhaps I was experiencing a louder signal. So, what does that mean, a signal? So, peptides are actually the highest selling pharmaceutical in the world. And the highest selling peptides are the GLPs. But what are peptides? Peptides are short amino acid chains, usually less than 20 amino acids strung together, and they're like little text messengers to your body. And they tell your body what to do. They tell your body to turn on and off things. They say, grow muscle, release insulin, stop eating, you're full, you're hungry. And we're all getting different signals based on our body's signaling system. So when Oprah was saying she's getting a different signal, her brain is literally getting a different signal. My brain is getting a different signal than Garth's brain when it comes to food and sugar and all the things. So this is really why, GLP meds have been life-changing for a lot of people because they're turning down this thing called food noise. And for many individuals, it's not creating self-control, it's creating a restored biology. People often say, for the first time in my life, the constant food noise disappeared. And that doesn't mean the medication gives people discipline. It means the brain is no longer shouting over every other signal. It's like it changes the signal of your body, of your brain. So this has helped us conclude this idea that if you are overweight or obese, it doesn't mean necessarily that you're weak. It means you are up against biology and an entire food industry designed to keep you eating. The GLP market is insanely huge. It's about 140 billion right now. In the next 3 to 5 years, it will be up to half of a trillion. 500 billion is half of a trillion. Retta, which is out now, Retta is the world's first triple agonist GLP med. So it has three pathways. You're going to hear about three pathways in the future from Dr. Jeremy. This is projected to be a $1 trillion drug. Wegovy sells 13 billion of these shots every 3 months. Eli Lilly set aside $50 billion just for manufacturing for Retta alone because of the demand that they know that's going to happen. Now, we're going to talk about something else and a new kid in town, so to speak. But I want you to understand, if we capture 1% of this industry, of this market, Origin, the company that we're talking about tonight, will be the top network marketing company in the world with one product in this one marketplace. Just 1%. Do you think we can go get 1% of all the people? Yeah, probably. Okay. So here's the interesting thing. We know GLPs aren't on trial, meaning no one's like, well, I don't know, do they really work? Like, no one's saying that because we know they work. No one's like, I don't know, I've never really heard of these. Like 10% of people are on them, and 33% of Americans are actively looking for one right now. So just imagine you've got 33% of the humans saying, I would like this thing. Do you have this thing? Okay. Dr. Jeremy,
Yes.
you get to introduce us to Origin's Tri-GLP.
Awesome. My favorite part. So we have the drops and now we have the Ignite powder, which, like Dr. Erin said, is not just one pathway, which the most popular drug on the market right now, semaglutide, is a single pathway. It's a GLP-1 agonist, right? The second largest weight loss drug on the planet is two pathways. It is your tirzepatide, which is two pathway mimicker, right? And she alluded to retatrutide, which is still in studies, but will be released next year. FDA willing, and expected to enter the market at 12 to $1,800 a month for retatrutide, a three pathway GLP agonist. Um, the we already have a three pathway support system in this product. I've been doing nutrition a very long time. I've seen a lot of supplements. This is by far the most impactful, the most powerful supplement that I've seen in my 28 years of practice. And when I get into some of the science, you'll see why I say that. The next slide. I like this origins of the new Ozempic, right? Except better.
Yes.
So we see, yeah, we see the big pharma situation. We see our origin, our Ignite, our Try GLP. I'm glad that Dr. Erin highlighted muscle loss because this is a big deal and something that often doesn't get talked about. So again, the most powerful, or I mean, not the most powerful, the most popular weight loss drug in the market right now is your GLP-1 agonists, which have up to 60% of the weight loss can be muscle. 40 to 60% of that weight loss that you might have achieved with a GLP-1 could be muscle loss. So we'll be conservative and say only 40%. So if we lost 50 pounds, 40% of that was muscle. That's 20 pounds of muscle lost if we dropped 50 pounds total. So we're 20 pounds down of muscle now, our most metabolically important organ in our body, we have less of. So we may have dropped 50 pounds and we might even feel pretty good about that. But are we metabolically healthier than when we started? And of course, the answer is a resounding no. We are worse off already than we were 50 pounds ago. But what I see in my office oftentimes is one, and this, I blame the healthcare field for this, is we're prescribing this powerful drug. It's a powerful drug. We're prescribing that with no instructions on how to successfully use this, how to successfully prevent side effects, how to successfully reduce the amount of muscle we're going to lose, with no ideas on an off ramp when we decide we want to quit using these injections, right? We don't talk about prioritizing protein to try to keep as much muscle as possible. They're oftentimes not talked about the role of exercise and weightlifting in maintaining lean muscle mass as they're utilizing this powerful drug. And what happens, when we talk about GLP-1, which now oftentimes people just think GLP-1 is a drug, right? It's an injection. It's one of these. Well, it's not, of course. GLP-1 is a natural hormone, natural peptide in our body, right? So what happens when we consistently replace a hormone in our body? Our body says, I don't need to make that anymore, right? We'll just stop making that because there's plenty of it around. And so this GLP-1 mimicker now starts to shut down this pathway. The body says, I don't need to do this anymore. So we quit the shots. Now what happens? Well, one, we haven't been given any instructions on how to successfully do this. Two, we've been shutting down this GLP pathway for months now, right? We've never probably changed. Unfortunately, a lot of people aren't instructed how to change their lifestyle for ultimate success long term. So now, of course, and we're maybe 20 pounds or more down in lean muscle tissue. So, of course, the weight rapidly returns. But does that 20 pounds of muscle come back with the 50 pounds that we lost? Of course not. So now we're fatter, even if we only gained 50 pounds back, we're fatter than we started. We're metabolically unhealthy, more unhealthy than when we started. And so the thought process oftentimes is, I need to go back on that shot. I've got to get this 50 pounds off again. So let's say they return back to the shot. Let's say they lost that same 50 pounds. They lost 20 more pounds of muscle. So now we're potentially 40 pounds down of lean muscle, and now we are in a crisis. Our metabolism may never, ever recover from that. That's how serious this can be. It may never recover from this, being down that much lean muscle, depending on your age, your health, your ability. You may not ever be able to get all that muscle back. And this is what we're facing, guys. And I like, was it epidemic, ozempidemic. Is that what you said, Doctor? I can't pronounce it, but that's exactly what this is causing. And so I'm not against shots in all cases. It was designed for diabetics, right? And there can be uses there. But as the most popular choice in the world, I question that thought process. And I'll get off the soapbox on that. We'll change to the next slide. So, when we talk about try GLP, try meaning three, we have three GLP pathways in a natural product. That's mind blowing. Nobody else has this. You know, uh, hundreds of millions of dollars are being spent on a three pathway drug, but we have a three pathway natural, organic, affordable, effective product with pharma results without those side effects. It's like, sign me up, right? Take all my money, give me these drops. So the GLP-1, oftentimes called the appetite whisperer, and we've talked about these many times, but it's important for regulating appetite, reducing cravings. It's important for insulin sensitivity in the body. We have the GLP-2 pathway, which is important for healing that gut lining, repairing that intestinal barrier, reducing and repairing leaky gut, improving nutrient absorption, absorbing the vitamins and minerals and all of the nutrients in which we're consuming. And not only those two, but the GIP pathway, which is also important for insulin and blood sugar and energy metabolism and telling our body to quit storing everything and actually use some of this for energy for fuel. And we have supporting all three of these pathways. The difference here is we're not mimicking with a drug. We're not replacing these pathways, which is what in my opinion causes trouble with injections, replacing pathways. We're not replacing pathways, we're supporting pathways. So we have the drops, right? Super simple, underneath the tongue, 30 to 60 seconds, and you're off and running. Has the amazing bioactive salmon peptides with a little bit of organic ginger root, a little bit of organic lemon peel, and water. That's all that's in there. And then we have our amazing Ignite, which I think I'm significantly addicted to. And we have the same amazing technology with the peptides, with a little beet powder for color, stevia, and natural cran and apple flavorings. Delicious. So really, you have two choices. What's your favorite delivery system? And I'd love to know in the comments if you've tried both, what's your favorite of the two? If you have a favorite. If you haven't tried it, let us know that too. I'd be interested to see. Drop a one if your favorite's the drops, drop a two if your favorite's Ignite, drop a three if they're equal. I'd love to see that. Let's move on. So, of course, the star of the show is Norwegian salmon peptides. And guys, what makes us different is the science. We have the science. And that's what's different about this. There's a lot of products out there with hype, a lot of products that are making claims that it does this or that. When you ask them about the science to back it up, you hear crickets because there's no science. There's just claims and hype. We have the science, right? I always say the jury's not out on this. The jury's already in. We already know that it works. We don't have to prove that anymore. We have over 50 million invested and continuing to be invested in research over 10 years, over a decade of research into this technology, a patented technology. With I think we're up to 10 published studies now, I believe, 13 FDA function claims, which in and of itself is mind blowing. Ask any other nutritional companies on the market, how many FDA claims do you have? Again, you're going to hear crickets because they don't have any. 99.9% of the natural products in anywhere have zero FDA function claims. And the only way you can have FDA function claims is if you have solid science. And that excites me about this product. And I love the term beyond organic and origin pure because this really is a new standard in purity. It goes beyond conventional categories. When you look at the certifications, the kosher, the halal, the HACCP, the GMP, the non-GMO, there's nothing evil. There's nothing sinister. There's nothing hidden in this product. Definitely one of, if not the cleanest natural product that I've seen or been able to be associated with.
I love Dr. Jeremy that it's a food. It's food.
Exactly. Exactly. I love to point that out. Can I take this with this condition? Can I take this with this medication? Can I take, can my teenager take this? Can my grandparent take this? Again, we're just looking at food. All those ingredients on that list are simply food, right? We're supporting natural pathways. GLP-1, GLP-2, GIP are natural pathways in your body. Nothing foreign, nothing strange. Your body knows exactly what to do in these pathways, and we're supporting them with signals, right? Peptides from the salmon are signals, and we're signaling better. That's all we're doing. We're simply signaling better, like we're supposed to be signaling, right? So I love to get questions and answers. These are some of the questions we hear quite a bit. What do these natural peptides do? I think we've touched on probably all of that. That we're supporting these signals, right? What if I don't need to lose weight? Another common question, and that's totally fine. This is not going to force weight loss, right? If your metabolism is such that you need to lose weight, many of us are, that's me, um, it's going to assist you in weight loss. Now, let's say that you don't need to lose weight, but I guarantee you, you need another benefit from these pathways and another benefit from this science, and you will not be forced to lose weight if that's not necessary. So there's no need to fear that. Will you stay on them forever? And I always, say that as long as you want to experience these same benefits, you can stay on it. But no, there's no life sentence, right? If you want to use them to reach a certain goal, fine. A lot of people I find they might reach their weight loss goal, but they don't want to stop feeling as good as they are. So they might reduce their dose to a maintenance or a wellness dose. And that's an option, right? You might want to take less, but you still want to receive all of these benefits, all of the science that's in there. And so a lot of people choose to utilize the product as a long-term longevity, anti-aging powerhouse. And you thought you guys were talking about we were talking about a fat loss supplement tonight. Well, I'm going to tell you that it's much, much more than that. So the clinical results, we have up to 7% BMI reduction in 6 weeks, 10% body fat decrease with zero muscle loss. That is mind blowing. Not 5% or 10%, certainly not 40 to 60%, zero muscle loss, 100% fat targeted weight loss. We talked about the blood sugar improvement and energy. That's one of the things I get excited about. People know to sustain energy all day, not the afternoon crashes where you feel like you have to take a nap. Improvements in inflammation and digestion. And then when we dive into the science, I encourage you, if you haven't yet, to ask whoever invited you, ask for their origin website because all of this science is on there, just front and center, nothing hidden. You don't have to go searching for PubMed for what do these things do. It's all right there for you to click and check out. When I talk about the longevity benefits, and I have a whole presentation that I've been able to do just on longevity, has nothing to do with just simply fat loss, longevity and anti-aging. One of those things is it upregulates 16 protective genes and downregulates 9 oxidative stress genes. Well, oxidative stress is what ages our cells, our body, what ages us. And it's shifting gene expression itself into protect mode, into anti-aging mode. That's amazing. One of the studies is on iron deficiency anemia with those that were iron deficient, increasing their iron storage by 140%. What? When you look on the ingredients, there's no iron in here. How is that increasing iron? It goes back to gut health and nutrient absorption. That's how much we're improving nutrient absorption. And if we're improving iron and iron deficient anemics, what else are we improving as far as nutrients? Probably everything, right? Muscle preservation, again, so important for anti-aging and longevity. But this could be looked at as a weightlifting supplement, right? Or a sports enhancing supplement because of how it preserves muscle. It suppresses myostatin and activin A. These are two proteins that are generally involved in limiting muscle growth and promoting muscle breakdown. It suppresses these proteins and rapidly increases amino acid delivery to the body, especially leucine, which tells the body it's time to create some new muscle. So what I'm seeing on here is people are losing fat and they're putting on muscle. And sometimes they're not even, majorly exercising to put on muscle, but we are shifting the body into a muscle building state. And so I always encourage people, if they are looking at this as a fat loss aid, that they do more than just get on the scale, right? The scale, first of all, is a big fat liar, and it doesn't tell you anything about the health of what's on that scale and the tissue that's being measured, right? It just tells you the total number. There's a lot going on underneath the surface that you need to know. So you can get fancy scale, you can work with your health practitioner to get some of that measured, or you can simply measure yourself, get the old tape measure out and measure yourself and watch what happens there. Because a lot of times there's a lot more happening than might meet the eye initially. Cosmetic improvements, skin, hair, and nails up to 34% reported improvement in females. Anti-inflammatory effects with improvements and reductions in blood markers called C-reactive protein, interleukin 5, interleukin 8. Again, just amazing research. And when we look at the FDA function claims, you know, most of these have zero to do with fat loss, first of all. And again, depending on the lens that you're looking at this technology, that you're looking at this amazing supplement from, this could look like an amazing metabolism fat loss supplement for sure. This could look like an anti-aging powerhouse. This could look like an athlete's dream and athletic performance and muscle building. This could look like a blood sugar repair supplement. This could look like a gut health and repair supplement, right? And it's all the same technology. We're improving signaling that already exists in the body, optimizing these signaling processes, which equals changes in our health. So I encourage you to take a deeper dive, take a closer look at this supplement and these benefits, because there's a lot here to take in. So, Dr. Erin, I'm going to pass it
Dr.
back to you.
Dr. Jeremy, that was so amazing. Can you say the signaling part again?
Yeah, we're simply repairing, the pathways that already exist. We're improving the signaling that's already innately in our body that gets worn down, right? By wear and tear and oxidative stress and inflammation and poor food and all of the, inflammatory ingredients and pesticides and hormones and plastics and all the stuff that wear and tear on our body slow down these natural processes, these natural pathways, these natural peptides in our body. So we're repairing that signaling message again, and that's why we're seeing such dramatic improvements in health, not just in fat loss, but in total health. And that's super exciting.
Wow. Thank you so much. Everyone put some fire emojis for Dr. Jeremy. If you're like, get this in my body, get this in my body right now. Oh my Lord. So he was mentioning our website. I just wanted to pull up the front page of our website. If you scroll down, you're just going to see all the research. Isn't this just amazing? Look at all the research, clinical trials, published studies, and you can just have a field day reading all the science if that's what you like. So we wanted to let you know that. Now, we have over 15,000 people in a Facebook group that looks like this. And so if you have been invited here, please ask for the invitation to this Facebook group and you can go and look at 15,000 people and the results that they're getting on these products. It's absolutely phenomenal. So we do have a business opportunity attached to this. So this is how simple it is. You talk to the humans, you tell them what you know and what you found. That's what we do. And let me just say, we make 50% commissions on customers, and then we get paid 8 other ways. And it's it's such a blessing. So as we wrap up, and we'll open it up for questions, but why now? Well, you are at the right place, the right time with the right brand. With the GLP category exploding and consumer awareness at an all-time high, people are searching for a natural non-injection alternative that works. Origin delivers exactly what the market is demanding with none of the barriers that slow traditional brands. Your timing has never been better. Our friend Demetrius always says you have a drop ship business right in the palm of your hands, and it's free right now. It's free to grow a global business. We are in over 80 countries. So we'll leave you with this quote and really let this sink in. The opportunity of a lifetime needs to be seized during the lifetime of the opportunity. Origin is here. It's happening now. It's real. It's not too good to be true unless you say it's too good to be true. It's actually true, and it's actually that good. We are fully launching on September 12th in Orlando. You have time to get an airplane ticket and meet us there and launch what will be the biggest thing I know Dr. Jeremy and I will ever do in business, and the biggest thing that you can ever do in business. And please do not confuse this for hype. It is that big of a deal. I think we made the case for that. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll stop the record. Well, we'll stop it. We'll stop the share and we'll open up for questions. If anyone has any questions, that was incredible. Thank you. Oh, Dan.
Hello, can you hear me? Oh, okay. My question is this to the two doctors. I've heard of some serious side effects with Ozempic, and that's kind of what's scaring some of the people I know. That not only does it deteriorate your muscle tissue, but they're finding now that they looked at people who may have passed that have had bone damage, like it eats their bones. I don't know, have you heard any of that, doctors? Either of you doctors? And like, is this a safer alternative? Like, there shouldn't be anything like that.
Yeah, you mean go, Dr. Erin? Um, so,
Yes.
Dan, that's a common occurrence with especially the GLP-1 type medications. We're seeing bone loss and muscle loss, and so many other things, right? We've heard the pancreas and digestive and all the different things that can happen. We have seen zero of that here, and really the reason is because we're not forcing these receptors aggressively like these mimicking drugs are, right?
Mhm.
We're supporting the already existing pathways. And so it's just a much different approach. We're optimizing pathways that already exist in our body instead of hijacking that pathway with a synthetic injection that's driving those receptors hard in the body, which is where we start to get into trouble with side effects. So these GLP pathways are powerful, but in my opinion, we're doing a much better job because we are supporting the signals that are already there instead of forcing and mimicking and taking over and hijacking the system.
And
Thank
then
you,
just
Dan.
one last question, if that's okay. Um, can this be used for someone who's doing intermittent fasting and does a 72-hour fast, or would you not
Absolutely.
recommend it? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to provide clean energy without breaking your fast, right? And
Okay.
so it can definitely enhance that. I
Yeah.
just a personal experience I've had with my wife Sarah, who used to be horribly hypoglycemic. Um, she couldn't go more than just a few hours, 2 to 3 hours without eating, or she would get weak and shaky. In fact, she's even completely passed out before and hit the
Right.
floor because her sugar tanked. And she could never, I've always enjoyed intermittent fasting and even prolonged fasts. She never could do that. Not even intermittent
Mhm.
fasting. She couldn't even skip one meal, much less, most of a day. And what she can do that now. And the
She
only
can.
difference is that she started on this technology. So it has stabilized her sugar in such a way that now she can intermittent fast. And so we're seeing improvements in blood sugar across the board, whether that's too much blood sugar, it's too little blood sugar. The improvements in insulin sensitivity and again signaling in the body is the amazing part of this.
Thank
Yeah.
you. We'll go
Thank
to
you.
Dorian. You're welcome.
Mhm.
Hey, how you doing?
Great.
A good presentation, by the way. I'm coming by way of May Karshner. But my question is this product good for someone that's taking natural herbal supplements, for other things like just regular natural herbs, other vitamins and stuff? Can we still take this product?
Absolutely. But you think about how it might replace some of the supplements you're taking. And so that has saved us some money. And, you can just do a clean sweep of kind of what you're taking, but absolutely.
So what? So no interference, just might save some money, but getting off that natural.
Yeah, no interference. And one thing I've noticed just in patients' lab work is we're seeing improvements in some of the nutrients, like we mentioned the iron study, but we're seeing improvement in vitamin mineral levels that they're not taking. They're not even taking more of, right? Because we're
Mm,
improving digestion and absorption that much.
Okay, sounds
thank
good. I
you.
appreciate it, guys. Again, docs, thanks for your presentation. It was great information and love it.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Dorian.
Dorian. Blair, you're next.
Me? Can I?
Blair?
There? No.
Okay,
I'm,
we're going to
I'm
go to
calling.
Renee next, and we'll take two more after that. Renee,
Hi,
got her hand up. Hi.
very, very interesting presentation. My